This is your no-nonsense recap for Spy Family Season 2. The first episode of Season 2 opens with Yor completing an assassination mission against the radical terrorist group, the Red Circus. As she leaves, a surviving member shoots her with the bullet, wounding her in the donk. At home, Yor's constant pain puts her in a very, very foul mood. Lloyd mistakenly assumes that she is angry with him for making her run errands, while Anya, who can read minds, knows the real issue. To cheer Yor up, Lloyd plans an elaborate date, having prepared 862 different date ideas. He leaves Anya and Bond into Frankie's care, intending for it to be a couples-only outing. Worried about her parents, Anya convinces Frankie to tail them on their date. They follow in comical disguises, with Lloyd spotting them almost instantly, but choosing to ignore them to focus on Yor. Lloyd's meticulously planned dates involving, amongst other things, sitting in a car, trying on pants, going to the cinema, they all fail because, each activity sort of aggravates Yor's hidden injury, making her seem disinterested and further worrying Lloyd. Can I just say that this episode is brilliant? But anyways, the date moves to an upscale restaurant. The waiter is revealed to be the sole survivor of the Red Circus, and he recognizes Yor as the Thorn Princess, the assassin who killed his comrades, of course. The waiter then attempts to assassinate Yor by poisoning her martini with blowfish venom. However, the poison has no lethal effect and instead just numbs her wound, finally allowing her to relax and enjoy the date. The waiter, undeterred, plans to build a bomb, but Anya, listening through the vents, sabotages his efforts by spilling oil and swapping a bomb ingredient for a non-lethal alternative, causing a peanut-filled explosion, which is very fitting for Anya. She then teleports him using her telepathy to reference his personal life and scare him into giving up his vengeful path. With her pain numbed, though, Yor has a wonderful time, and the date ends on a high note with the whole family, including a revealed Anya, enjoying the carnival. Lloyd is relieved, believing that his mission was a success. But oh no, Lloyd, you are just oblivious. The next morning, however, the effects of the poison do wear off, and Yor is once again in a pained, grumpy mood, leaving Lloyd utterly confused to what he has done wrong this time.
Oh, that Spy Family, it's a family picture.
Bond has a mysterious vision of his own death. But of course, this is Bond. When Yor announces she will cook dinner since she forgot to buy dog food, he connects the dots and concludes he will die from eating her cooking. So Bond realizes that refusing the food might anger Yor, which he also believes could be fatal. So his only solution is to ensure Lloyd comes home early to cook instead. So he escapes the apartment to find him. Bond tracks Lloyd to the Bourne Industries facility, where the spy is on a mission to steal a sample of Gerulimus, a powerful new truth serum. Lloyd mistakenly interrupts Bond's presence as a desire for revenge against the scientists due to Bond's alleged ties to Project Apple, and allows him to assist. In the lab, Bond has another vision foreseeing guards arriving. He warns Lloyd, and they set a trap. Bond's actions cleverly trick the guards into revealing the location of the serum, allowing the duo to successfully complete the mission. Grateful, however, Lloyd decides to go home early. Bond has a new, happy vision of Lloyd cooking a safe dinner, confirming his mission was a success and his life saved. So let's switch on over to Damian. Damian oversleeps after studying all night, earning him punishment from Headmaster Henderson. He must help with chores and is confined to school grounds, missing a class, trip to the movies. Oof. Worried that Damon is pushing himself too hard for his father's approval, aren't we all? His friends Emil and Ewan McGregor deliberately get themselves into trouble so they can be punished alongside him and help him finish the chores faster. Henderson and the custos, Mr. Green, observes the boys' camaraderie, deeming it elegant. They assign a new, unconventional punishment: a field research trip to a nearby lake with Mr. Green. The trip involves a frantic canoe ride, fishing for their dinner, and confronting a fear of earthworms. Through these activities, the boys are forced to relax and have fun together. The trip ultimately culminates at Stella Lake, where the stars glitter beautifully on the water. Damian admits the trip wasn't a waste and shares a genuine, laughing moment with his friends. Mr. Green's lesson is pretty clear in all this, though. It's important to enjoy life and not focus solely on just work. Which, that's probably something that I could learn with my 3 very active channels. After a successful arrest, Yuri is assigned a new case. Investigate and stop Franklin Perkin, a former reporter who is writing and smuggling slanderous articles about Ostania to West Elise. Yuri throws himself into the mission with his usual overzealous dedication, mostly to his sister. A little bit of a weirdo he is, but pulling all-nighters to surveil Franklin's every move. Yuri observes Franklin fabricating news stories, such as intimidating children to create a negative narrative. However, he also overhears Franklin expressing his motivations, a desire to make the country better and provide for his ailing father. Franklin's concern for his family resonates with Yuri, because, the sister thing, causing him to briefly humanize his target before just recommitting to his duty. I mean, Yuri, it's Scott, he is special, but Yuri discovers Franklin uses his job at the post office to smuggle the articles. Once the evidence is secured, Yuri arrests him outside his home to spare his family the sight. As he's arrested, Franklin questions who is more pathetic, a man fighting tyranny or the one serving it. Yuri's simple, heartfelt response is that he would never do anything to cause his sister pain. He also promises to secure financial aid for Franklin's father. After this, Yuri visits his sister Yor at the Forger household. A pat on the head from her is all he really needs to feel better, highlighting that protecting his own family is the ultimate motivation, even if it means ruining others. Anya then watches a new episode of Spy Wars, where the hero, Bondman, romantically entangles himself, I'm putting this very genuinely, by the way, with multiple women on a mission. All of Bondman's love interests so eventually confront him, demanding he choose one, which is like the worst visual novel ending you could possibly get. But when he refuses, they collectively beat him up and leave him. Anya finds the lovey-dovey drama quite interesting to discuss with Becky. I'm sure Becky loved it, while Lloyd is left utterly confused and disgusted by Bondman's unprofessional and womanizing behaviors. So at a department store, Anya, she wants to ride a large electric panda. Lloyd finds it kind of pointless, but gives in when she starts to cry. Her immediate desire to ride again leaves him baffled, thinking, man, I do not understand this peanut child. But after seeing the ocean on TV, Anya wants to go too. Lloyd promises with a trip to the pool. The fun, though, is ruined when Anya's telepathy picks up the thoughts of other children peeing in the water, making her vow never to return. Another moment of confusion for Lloyd, who is 99.9% confused and 0.1% Lloyd. At Eden Academy, Damian has learned his lesson and wakes up an hour early to study. Meanwhile, at the Forger home, Lloyd struggles immensely to wake a sleepy Anya, resulting in her being tardy for school. Anya learns that students will be separated into different classes based on academic performance, with upcoming quizzes being a key factor. This sends her into a panic, especially about the classical language test. Hope arrives in the form of a school rumor, the Pastry of Knowledge. A special macaroon made by a former royal chef is said to make anyone who eats it instantly smarter and guarantee they become an imperial scholar. Anya, Becky, Damian, Emil, Ewan McGregor all rush to get the last set of these magical macaroons. They manage to secure 4 out of the 5, leading to a 5-way standoff. To decide who gets the 4th, the children agree to a game of Old Maid. Anya uses her telepathy to win, accidentally arouses Damian's suspicion, forcing her to deliberately lose in the next round to avoid detection. The final round comes down to Anya and Damian, seeing that Anya is on the verge of tears. As the thought of failing and being separated from Becky, Damian deliberately takes the Old Maid card, letting her win. After a fiery, determined study session fueled by the macaroon, Anya takes her quizzes, and this result shows her grades have barely improved, debunking the pastry's magical properties grift. While reviewing her failed quiz, though, Lloyd makes a surprising discovery here. Anya did exceptionally well on the classical language section, only losing points on spelling. However, he is still left puzzled, wondering how she has an innate talent for such a difficult, archaic subject. Lloyd, though, he visits Frankie for intel, but Frankie demands a favor in return. Help finding a lost cat named Kopi, who belongs to a barista, Casey, he has a crush on. You guys remember that old barista meme? I'm sure you do. That just popped up in my head for some reason. I know, it's a recap. I probably shouldn't be interjecting my own thoughts on things into this, but I am. Hi, how are you? Breaking character. Lloyd flatly refuses and leaves. Frankie sets out to find the cat himself and runs into Yor. Hearing his plight, she happily offers her assistance. Frankie's high-tech cat luring device works way too well, attracting a horde of felines. So when Kopi is eventually spotted and tries to run into traffic because cat, Yor instinctively rips a piece of Frankie's exoskeleton suit and throws it, perfectly pinning the cat down without harming it. Frankie triumphantly returns Kopi to Casey, only to discover she already has a boyfriend. Heartbroken, but accepting, Frankie resolves to dedicate his life to his work. Yor returns to work feeling fulfilled from her good deed, though. There, she receives a phone call from her handler, the shopkeeper, who informs the Thorn Princess that she has a new assassination client. Yor is summoned by the shopkeeper and given a high-stakes assignment: protect Olka Gretcher and her young son, the last survivors of a deposed crime family, until they can safely escape to a neutral country aboard the luxury cruise ship Princess Lorelei. Meanwhile, Anya wins the grand prize in a mall raffle, a pair of tickets for the very same cruise. After a family discussion and Lloyd securing time off from both his spy and hospital duties, the entire Forger family decides to go on the trip together. The family boards the ship with the contrasting moods. Anya is ecstatic, Lloyd is analytically assessing the security risks, and Yor is anxious about balancing her deadly mission with, of course, her family vacation. What a good mom. Yor, under her City Hall cover, meets for garden colleague Matthew McMahon and their charges, who are traveling under the aliases The Gray Family. Almost like the Gray Cow from... I'm interrupting again, I apologize. Yor immediately identifies the mother, Shaddy, unfortunate name, as her real target, Olka. Yor is tasked with staying in Olka's side at all times. And this becomes complicated when she realizes that her own family is exploring the ship and could potentially be caught in the crossfire of her mission. Olka, yearning for a moment of normalcy, asks Yor to take her and her son Graham outside for fresh air. Despite the risks, Yor agrees, forming a personal bond with the woman she is sworn to protect. Unbeknownst to Yor and Olka, their private conversation on the deck is being monitored, and an informant with enhanced hearing uses their discussion to pinpoint Olka's cabin and her alias, alerting the assassins on board that their targets have been located. After dinner, Yor's handler, Matthew, interrogates an assassin and learns that their cover is blown. An informant has revealed Olka's identity and cabin number to multiple independent assassins on the mission. Assassins immediately storm Olka's cabin. Yor and Matthew work in tandem to eliminate the threat, with Yor killing one attacker by throwing a stiletto through the door. Matthew orders Yor to escort the Gretchers to a vacant room in the second-class area while he cleans up the evidence. He emphasizes the need for stealth so that they can avoid a public incident that would force the ship to turn back. The various assassins on board, realizing they are facing the elite Garden organization, decide to join forces under a single leader to share information and split the bounty, making them a more coordinated and dangerous threat. So Yor guides her charges to a masquerade ball to blend in, and despite her orders to avoid fighting, she skillfully and discreetly neutralizes two assassins in the crowded room without causing a scene or really anyone even noticing. In the shopping promenade, Anya uses her telepathy to overhear the plans of a powerful assassin named Barnaby. Barnaby. Fearing that a public battle will expose Yor's identity to Lloyd, she creates a dramatic diversion, forcing Lloyd into a fitting room to try on countless fun vacation outfits to keep him occupied and away from the impending fight. And just as Yor and her group think they are in the clear, Barnaby confronts them. Yor barely dodges his first attack, noting his incredible speed and his ability to conceal his bloodlust. The episode then ends as the two powerful assassins are about to really face off, and the next episode, quite good, my friends. As Yor battles Barnaby, a crowd gathers. Anya, spotting the danger, cleverly convinces everyone it's a circus act. This cover allows Yor to stop holding back. She overwhelms Barnaby with her terrifying Thorn Princess aura, and swiftly defeats him with precise pressure point strikes, ending with a bow to the applauding audience. Lloyd finally emerges from the fitting room in an absurdly fun outfit, believing he has achieved the perfect vacation dad look. Anya, now focused on her mission, finds his attempt utterly lame, crushing his confidence. Yor's group reaches their safe room. Her handler, Matthew, reprimands her for her earlier carelessness, reminds her that losing focus will get everyone killed. He leaves to patrol and thin out the enemy numbers. Left alone on guard duty, Yor reflects on her hesitation during the fight, realizing her fear of getting injured and exposing her secret to her family was a liability. She grapples with her identity, questioning why she continues her work as an assassin. The next day, Anya schemes to ditch Lloyd to find and help Yor. However, her plans repeatedly backfire as she gets completely distracted by the ship's activities, like mini golf, ending up having fun with Lloyd all day instead. Feeling guilty for forgetting about Yor, Anya is cheered up when Lloyd suggests they watch the fireworks that evening, speculating that Yor might also be there. This gives Anya a new goal. Matthew receives the signal for the rendezvous. In 4 hours, a boat will meet them to extract Olka and Graham. The group prepares to move under the cover of the fireworks show, and unbeknownst to them, the assassin's informant intercepts the transmission. The assassin leader deduces their plan and orders his team to ambush them at the rendezvous point, setting the stage for a final, decisive confrontation. Under the cover of the loud fireworks show, Yor leads Olka and her group to the rendezvous point on the ship's bow. However, the assassin leader, using his enhanced sense of smell, immediately tracks them. The group is surrounded by the entire team of assassins. A sniper opens fire, grazing Yor's arm and forcing the group to take cover. Matthew arrives as backup, and he and Yor work in a brutal harmony to slaughter the ambushing assassins. Matthew gives the order to leave no one alive, deeming the attackers unworthy of Garden's league. After Yor and Matthew dispatch the lesser assassins, the true threat emerges, a master swordsman who had been lying in wait. He swiftly knocks Matthew unconscious with a powerful blow. Left alone, Yor is overpowered by the swordsman. As she's beaten down, she questions her purpose as an assassin, wondering if her brother Yuri even needs her protection anymore. She nearly accepts her fate, seeing the assassin leader move to kill Olka and Graham. However, Yor's resolve ignites. She remembers her core motivation, to create a peaceful world for her loved ones, which now includes not just Yuri, but Lloyd and Anya as well. So she decides she will bloody her hands to protect that peace. Reinvigorated, Yor shatters the swordsman's blade with her bare hands, tanks a slash to her chest, and delivers a devastating kick, declaring she will not give up. In Berlint, Yuri collapses with a severe cold, a psychosomatic reaction triggered whenever her sister Yor is away, of course, obviously. While bedridden, Yuri has a flashback to his childhood where a well-meaning but dangerously clumsy Yor nursed him back to health with increasingly extreme and life-threatening remedies, including strangling him with a green onion and fighting a wild boar. This memory solidified Yuri's vow to grow strong and make the world safe for Yor, either that or just survive her. In the present, he requests a specific foul-tasting herbal tea because its terrible flavor most closely resembles the brew Yor made for him. Reminder of her care, if a bit nauseating. After the fireworks, Lloyd reads the lips of the SSS agents and discovers a bomb has been planted on board. He deduces it's a false flag operation meant to frame West Elise. After dropping Anya at a daycare as a rouge, he begins a covert mission to disarm the explosives. Anya ditches the daycare and, using her telepathy, locates Yor's fight. Finding Yor's lost stiletto, she throws it back to the deck. While it doesn't land directly in Yor's hand, it does set off a Rube Goldberg-like chain of events that knocks out 2 other assassins and makes the weapon accessible to Yor. Reuniting with her weapon, Yor engages the swordsman in a final clash and emerges while victorious. Matthew also recovers and shoots the assassin leader who flees, and Lloyd successfully disarms the first bomb but correctly suspects that there are more. He leads a secret ship-wide sweep to find them too. The assassin leader confronts the informant, who reveals he planted multiple bombs to sink the ship and spark a war, having only planned for his own escape. Anya, having overheard the leader's thoughts, alerts a crewman to a bomb hidden inside of a clock. Lloyd finds it but has no time to disarm it. He throws it overboard, where it explodes, inadvertently capsizing the informant and the assassin leader's escape raft. Yor and Matthew successfully escort Olka, Graham, and Zeb to their escape boat. Olka thanks Yor with a heartfelt hug, crediting Yor's soiled hands for her son's future, but Matthew tells Yor that her family requested to meet her the next day and orders her to enjoy her vacation with them as a reward for completing the mission. As Lloyd carries a sleeping Anya back to their room, he laments having to abandon his family during this crisis, then immediately corrects himself, overthinking the nature of his mission and his real feelings. With the mission over, the Forger family finally enjoys their day on the resort island. They fully immerse themselves in various outdoor activities from swimming to exploring as a genuine happy family. And at the end of the day, both Anya and Yor are so exhausted from the fun that Lloyd ends up carrying them back to the ship. He commends Yor for her hard work at the City Hall retreat, unaware of her true, physically taxing mission. Back in Berlint, Lloyd meets with his handler, Sylvia, my wife, along with Yor, of course. He recounts the crew's events from his perspective, the bomb threats, and the presence of the SSS agents, concluding it was an attempt to assassinate an Eastern dignitary and frame West Elise. But after the school break, Anya is excited to brag to her classmates about her family's cruise ship adventures. Anya's attempt to share her story is quickly overshadowed by Becky, of course, because it's Becky, who describes a much grander and more glamorous party. But when Anya finally gets a chance to speak her story, which includes vague, exaggerated reference to fireworks, bad guys, and her mom working super hard, sounds kind of absurd and made up for her classmates, who then laugh at her. Dejected, Anya returns home and tells her family how she got in trouble for lying. And in a big moment of dramatic irony, Lloyd, Yor, and Yuri, who is visiting, all hypocritically scold her, insisting that lying is wrong, despite their own lives being built on elaborate deceptions. After watching her favorite drama, Berlint in Love, Becky becomes infatuated with the idea of marrying a mature man like the protagonist. She decides that Lloyd is the perfect candidate. Becky arrives at the Forger home unannounced and attempts to flirt with Lloyd using lines from her show. So her dramatic and age-inappropriate behavior only confuses Lloyd. Witnessing Becky's flushed face and erratic behavior, Yor becomes deeply concerned, mistakenly believing the young girl is drunk or ill and rushes her to the hospital. Realizing that she probably can't compete with that, Becky concedes and instead asks Yor to teach her how to be strong and confident to become more appealing. So while Lloyd is on a cruise vacation, Fiona Frost, codenamed Nightfall, volunteers to take over all of his missions. Ski. She then goes to the mountains for intense and self-imposing training. Ski. Determined to prove she is more dedicated and capable than Yor. Ski. After Lloyd returns, he gives Fiona a simple souvenir from his trip while she maintains her cold An aloof exterior in front of him, she secretly becomes giddy with happiness, treasuring the gift as a token from the man she loves. I'm sorry. Lloyd takes Bond to the park for spy dog training. However, the exercises in attack and scent detection trigger Bond's traumatic memories of being an experiment in Project Apple, causing him to become despondent. Bond begins having visions of minor accidents, a dropped ice cream, a bicycle collision, and tries to intervene to be a good dog. His efforts backfire, causing the very accidents he sought to prevent and earning him scoldings from Lloyd. Bond, though, has a powerful vision of an apartment building on fire and a woman crying for her lost puppy, Daisy. He immediately races towards the danger, forcing Lloyd to follow. Bond and Lloyd brave the flames to rescue the trapped pug. Bond's foresight proves crucial as he warns Lloyd away from a collapsing floor, saving them both. After escaping the fire, Bond identifies and attacks the arsonist, who is gleefully watching the blaze. Lloyd subdues the man, revealing him to be responsible for a string of local fires. Lloyd softly scolds Bond for his recklessness, but sincerely apologizes for the harsh training. He reassures Bond that his primary role is not as a tool, but as a beloved member of the Forger family, promising a fun trip to the dog park. And at home, Anya uses her telepathy to learn the truth of their heroic deeds. She proudly awards both Lloyd and Bond handmade origami Stella stars for their bravery. The episode ends with a montage of other characters, Damon, Becky, Yuri, Fiona, Frankie, before setting on the Forger family, enjoying a peaceful dinner together with Bond resting contently beside his paper star. So that is it for season 2. Let me know if you made it to the end by commenting blue hearts, and if you liked this video, check out my other recaps for other anime that are coming out this season, and subscribe to never miss a video on one of the new animes that are coming out this season. Check out this video here for my recap for season 1 of Spy Family. Drop a like, subscribe for weekly coverage of season 3. Make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.